So I got another email from an angry insurance salesman. What else is new? And basically he's saying that in this video, I didn't peg my 4% withdrawals to the average rate of inflation for each year, which is true. I increased payments at a mechanical rate of 3% per year, which is the historical average. And as it turns out, inflation touched as high as 13%. Also, he's saying that I should have made 1966 as my starting point because 1966 was the worst year to begin retirement, not 1969. And then he's carrying on about how the 4% rule failed. It failed investors, and then he used this as his basis for why immediate annuities are so great, and he used all the usual catchphrases like, income for life that you cannot outlive. But you notice these guys, they never say adequate income that you can't outlive, because if they said that, they would be lying. So instead, he just said income. I mean, for example, I could agree to pay you 1 cent per year for as long as you live, and I would be truthful if I said that I'm paying you income for life that you cannot outlive, even though it's grossly inadequate. But this is one of the many insurance industry deceptions. And somebody made a great analogy when they said putting money into an immediate annuity is like deciding that taking a vacation at age 65 is more important than having food and shelter at age 85. And I'm going to show you with historical data and mathematics why even during the worst of times, immediate annuities are inferior when compared to a low-risk portfolio that is heavy on the bond side. Insurance salesmen like to give you platitudes. I back up my educational videos with spreadsheets so that you can see exactly what's going on. So here's what we know. I went on immediateannuities.com and I found a single life with cash refund immediate annuity policy. They will pay you 6.59% per year, not 4%. That's 6.59%. So that means if you give them $100,000, they will pay you $6,590 in fixed payments for life for as long as you live. But that payment rate never changes. So the question is this a good deal or not? Especially if we were to backtest a worst case scenario of high inflation, low sequence of returns era like 1966 onward. Now, if you invest on your own in a couple of bond and stock index funds, what else do we know? From 1970 to 2010, the lowest risk bond stock allocation was 28% stocks, 72% bonds. I just went with a 30-70 portfolio for simplicity. Notice that I didn't pick wild and crazy. I didn't pick 100% stocks or even 50% stocks. And we also know that, according to Vanguard, rebalancing adds up to 0.35% per year in increased returns. It's best to do percentage rebalancing, but that would be a nightmare to calculate without a software program, so I used the next best thing, calendar rebalancing, and I found a website showing the average rate of inflation for each year. And for simplicity, we start out with $100,000 and started taking out 4%, so that's $4,000. If there was no inflation, we would just take out $4,000 each year, but instead we add on. For example, in 1966, there was 2.9% inflation, so 4,000 times 102.9% becomes $4,116. And then the next year, 4,116 becomes our new benchmark for what is 4%, and then we add on another 3.1% for that year's rate of inflation. And I've highlighted these 4% withdrawals in green. The green line represents 4%. And as you can see, these 4% withdrawals grow and compound as long as you have inflation. And as our 65-year-old male gets older and older, notice by age 80, the value of his portfolio has dropped below $70,000. By 84, it's down to $49,000. And then by age 90, oh my God, he ran out of money. The insurance salesman was right. The 4% rule failed. He should have put his money into an immediate annuity instead. But wait a minute. Did you notice something? Remember how much money the annuity was paying per year? $6,590? In the beginning, the annuity was paying $2,474 more than with a 4% rule, yet by only age 79, we're taking out $2,770 more than the annuity. Then by age 83 and a half, inflation had made those $6,500 immediate annuity payments seem like you're actually only getting 2%. In other words, at age 84, when we adjust for inflation, $13,395 is 4%. That's 4%. And what's half of $13,395? $6,697. That means that with the annuity, you'd be trying to live off less than 2%. Yeah, you started out with 6.59%, and now you're down to trying to live off less than 2% at age 83 and a half. Hello, the annuity failed too. Yeah, you're still getting those fixed income payments for life, but you're living in the poorhouse, you're shopping at Goodwill, you're eating breadcrumbs. Then it just keeps getting worse. The new inflation adjusted 4% becomes $16,000, then $17,000. By age 90, you're forced to try to live off 1.5%. But so you can see that it's not a fair comparison to say, oh, the 4% withdrawal rate failed, when we're mechanically increasing withdrawals at a rate that's $10,000 more than what the annuity is paying. It's not a fair comparison if the stock bond portfolio has to be locked to a 4% withdrawal rate when the immediate annuity is allowed to pay less than 2%. This is how the insurance industry compares apples to oranges. So if the immediate annuity is allowed to keep paying only $6,590 or less than 2% or less than 1.5%, if we're going to be fair, what would happen if we just eased up a bit on withdrawals from the stock bond portfolio? Once our portfolio starts dropping down to perhaps the $80,000 range, what if we eased up a bit on withdrawals? And if you save money in your early years, it has a huge impact later in life because your money gets to grow and compound. And sure enough, look what happened. By your 90th birthday, you still had a $100,000 nest egg, and you're taking out nearly $12,000, nearly double what the annuity is still paying. Or what if we just consistently took out 3.4% instead of having 4% be the arbitrary line in the sand? Look at this. By age 90, you had a $100,000 nest egg for your heirs, and you were taking out $14,319. That's more than double what the annuity is paying you. And if you compare side-by-side grand totals of income, the bond stock portfolio not only paid out $81,000 more, but you had an additional $70,000 in the bank for your heirs. So in conclusion, clutch your pearls. These were tough times. You had to live on only 3.4%, but at least you didn't ever have to live off 1.5% if you had dumped your money into some annuity product. But once again, the irony is that insurance salesmen are actually using the 4% rule as their big compelling argument for selling immediate annuities or other annuities that pay fixed payments for life. The complete opposite is true. 1966 is proof positive that even in worst case scenarios, immediate annuities are fool's gold. But anyway, all this underscores why the experts say that the 4% safe withdrawal rate needs to be reevaluated on a yearly basis. Also, the 4% safe withdrawal rate is a worst-case scenario estimate. Looking back throughout history, you were actually able to spend safely as much as 8% per year with a 30/70 portfolio, according to Vanguard. So maybe I need to do a video about how much money you would miss out on if the markets did very well and you could be taking out 8% instead of 4%.